Hello, this is Spidey1958, and welcome to my Let's Play Pathfinder Kingmaker, episode 72, I believe. Last time we had this pop up on our map. I don't know if we can actually get there, though. And there's a ruined tower. And we can't find anything there. So maybe we can't get to that place. Oh, no, there we are. That's how we get to it. So let's enter. Now it looks like a dungeon with a big door. That must be how we got in. No, that's how we got in. Okay, let's go ahead and buff, because there's probably going to be lots of combat. Okay. Let's use Detect Magic. Search for a way to unlock the door. Try to force the door. So apparently we did all that buffing and we can't actually open the door. Well, that was really exciting. I assume there's something we can find somewhere that will open the door for us. Like maybe at the barbarian camp. Maybe that's what they're here searching for. Oh, we can still go this way. The clay pit, which has nothing at it. Blood furrows and the ruined tower. Well, let's go to the ruined tower. Ruins of a tower loom over surrounding plains like a tombstone, so old that time has worn away the epitaph, as well as language it's been written in. Let's climb the tower. You're not going to tell me who has the best athletics, are you? Nope, you're not. I think it's you. Succeed. It's hard to imagine how tall the building must have been before crumbling under its own weight. It's possible that even the owners would have towered above us had they still been around. Even so, by using the cracks and pits in the stone wall, an experienced climber could likely be able to scale the tower. Amari spat on her hands and swiftly climbed to one of the high ledges, then what remained to the second floor. There the walls had deteriorated even further. They were covered with engravings, barely visible symbols of some ancient language. After catching her breath, she decided to... Yep, she really doesn't have that. Let's have her climb further. Okay, let's try climbing further again. Succeed. Climbing higher was no easy task. Mary's fingers slipped on the wet moss and the rocks crumbled beneath her feet. Perched atop a shelf on the opposite wall, a large black raven, oh, not another black raven, watched Mary's ascent intently. Clinging to sides that were carved into the wall, Mary slowly begins moving upwards. At last she reached the top. An uneven stub was all that was left of the spire that once reached to the lower clouds. Alas, there was no treasure to be found there unless you're willing to count the magnificent view of the surrounding area. A fire flickered in the distance. Someone had set up camp. Finding out she had seen enough, Mary carefully descended after we decided to stay here for the night. We apparently weren't the first one to take shelter in these ancient ruins. We found a firebed containing fresh coals in the rubble. Night passed quickly, disturbed by neither spirits of the past nor monsters of the present. Turn away and leave. So that was interesting. It's interesting it doesn't consider us to have actually gone there. So what's the blood furrows? How are we doing? We're not tired. So let's go there. We did sleep tonight, so I don't know what we ate because we didn't cook a meal, but maybe there's lots of berries or stuff around. Looks like a dead horse.
In due time.
Looks like this horse fell when trying to climb the rock. It must have been terrified to attempt such a thing. This is definitely a different map than we've seen before. Horse's legs are covered with deep wounds. They seem to be bite marks, but the animal died by humans' hands. Its throat has been neatly slit. This barbarian seems to have died from massive blood loss. Horrible wounds cover his body, though his hand is still clutching a knife. Mastodon meat. And a belt. So let's see what the new belt is. New belt is physical flow, strength, and dexterity. So you have a belt plus 4 physical form, which gives you dexterity and con. It gives you dexterity of a higher plus. Gives you strength, dexterity, and con. Gives you strength and constitution. Strength and constitution. Strength, dexterity, and constitution. So we don't really have a need for that belt right at the moment. I think I would remember that stuff.
I'm there.
An ancient... Wow. It's not the right creature, but these things are supposed to be huge and dangerous. That's what the holes are from. Because they have like really high armor class. So we probably need you to buff.
Strike, my masterpiece.
Well, maybe we needed you to buff. Meat and the warrior's tag. Deep hole in ground made recently. Bottom you can see a pile of bloody rags that look like the remnants of some barbarian's clothes. So these holes were probably where the butyl was popping up and down. And this must be the way out. So apparently that ambushed some of the barbarians. So this is the barbarians' camp, so we can talk to the leader and the sisters. Barbarians! On the grounds around the hills, some Numerian barbarians set up camp, which obviously set up recently as a place to rest. It's thoroughly constructed, along with the staked palisades, deep moat, tough fighters. We accept the invitation. Within minutes, we were seated by a bonfire of goblets in our hands. As guests, our goblets were walled with silver, intricate carvings. Do as I do, a Mary whispered into the Baron's ears. They really care about tradition here. The cupbearer filled everyone's goblets with wine. When Durin raised his cup, officially starting the feat, Baroness put a faith in Mary and followed her example. To my other surprise, our barbarian friend spilled her wine on the ground, and the Baroness followed her example. I thought Numerians would be enraged, but they all followed suit. It was apparently a barbarian tradition offering the first cup to the spirits. Only after the cupbearer filled their goblets again did Numerians start to drink, and so did we. The main course, unsurprisingly, was meat. While hunting in the hills, the Numerians had killed a deer and 2 wild boar, all now roasting over an open fire. As the tribe's guests, we were offered the best pieces. Fierce in battle, the Numerians were equally fierce at the table. They fanatically tore the meat apart with knives, bare hands and teeth, as though attacking the throats of their worst enemies rather than eating roast venison. Only one camp inhabitant didn't join the dinner. Far from the festivities, a slim woman wrapped in a gray cloak sat alone, her face hidden behind a piece of cloth. She was so quiet and still at first I didn't realize she was a living thing at all. The Baroness, I will risk the Tiger Lords. One of the Faith Sisters, half priestess, half wizard. While they may travel along with Numerians, they never ate of the same table. Judging by the tones of the barbarians used when speaking of the woman, it was easy to tell that none of them held any warm feelings towards the Faith Sisters. So everyone eating their fill, it was time for entertainment. The barbarians began singing and dawdling song in their guttural language. Most everyone clapped the rhythm, though some thumbed their knife handles in their shields, and others, half-orc, Quatin, Bulgar, accompanied the song on a vargan. Once the song was over, Duraf appealed to his guests, us to surprise our host. The Baroness decided our best choice would be Let's do a tale of how we defeated the Stag Lord. Oh, great. Who has our best? I think that would be you. Tale of battle and heroic deeds was just what the barbarians were looking for. They listened eagerly, chimed in on each detail, and laughed and clapped at the most epic moments. Even Durga found himself smiling and nodding as he finished our story. Finally, the drinking and singing came to an end. Only bones remained from the feast, and the bonfire had burned down to ash. Satisfied, the Numerians retreated to their tents, so we followed their lead and turned in for the night ourselves. As you approach the barbarian leader, you can't help but overhear part of his conversation with a woman you recognized from the feast before. Her face remains hidden and she sounds extremely worried. I beg you, I haven't seen my sisters for several days. I'm afraid they may be in trouble. The whole land is nothing but trouble. You want me to risk my life and the lives of my people to do your dirty work. Go ahead, ask Armen to give the order. Oh, but Armen stayed back in Numeria. That means I'm the one making the decisions here. What about my sisters? Something terrible could happen to them. Find a relic the Faith sisters were looking for. Your sisters insisted on this expedition, so if you're priced to pay. With your blood, not ours. Something terrible could happen, you say? It's too late for that. We already lost good men on this pointless journey to nowhere. Wherever our Magnedes is not here, and it wasn't here from the start. But you didn't come here for him, did you? You came here for your own reasons. You had want some magic toy that once belonged to the ancient Cyclops. Well, I'm not leading my men to their deaths for that. Durgoff, the conversation is over. You want help? You may ask our guests to help you, if you can afford their rates, that is. As for me, my single remaining goal is to get my people home alive and well as soon as possible. The woman leaves sobbing. Dermot turns to you. Good morning. Well, let's get down to business, shall we? Introductions aren't necessary, Baroness. I know who you are. Let's discuss how we can be useful to one another. Do you know me? How? How do you think? We keep our eye on everything that happens in the region. It's smart to know our potential employers and our potential enemies. Who's that woman? Wish I knew who these witches were and where they came from. Our chieftain, the great Armag's spirits, bless him, trust them as if they were holy oracles. He sent us with them to make these dead hills, and none but the sisters and the chieftain himself know why. Who am I to confront the chieftain? So now we wander around these lands, chasing the unknown. Do you know anything about what happened in Varhold? Varhold, huh? Isn't that the village Mager Vaughn comes from, the Restoring Sword Lords? I know Varn. He's not the best fighter, but also not the worst. Also, from what happened there, I wouldn't know. So can we be useful to each other? I'm afraid we can't, at least not yet. I'd be happy to take a new job, but our chieftain's orders were strict. Search the location, come back with a report. But if you could help us here, say by finding whatever the witches' sisters are looking for, or maybe just make them disappear forever, mark my words, Baroness, the Tiger Lords will never forget those who helped them. There's a whole army of you here. How did you manage to get so far? None of your business, actually, but just to reassure you, we weren't sneaking into your lands without permission. I'll answer, it was magic. The sisters opened some strange tunnel, and we used it to get from here from Numeria. Gorham witnessed my words. I am no coward, but I'd rather march for a month through all the river kingdoms than use that damn tunnel again. It was strange, wrong, just like those witches themselves. What are you looking for here? I wish I knew. The sisters are looking for something, but they won't tell anyone what it is. I guess it's some antique that used to belong to the Cyclops, some magic trinket or something. As for me, the only thing I'm looking for is a good reason to quit this nonsense and return to Numeria as soon as possible. Is this how you serve your liege? Don't confuse our chieftains with your king's knights. It's the chieftain who swears an oath to the tribe, not the other way around. Liege, huh? I was one of the tribe's elders when he was knee-high to a grasshopper. Did you find anything interesting? If we did, do you think we'd still be here now? The only thing to be found in this hills is one's own death. A group of my men entered a cave that turned out to be a spriggan den. They barely survived the encounter. Also, we found the ruins of some old tower, ancient as the world itself and useless as this expedition. There's nothing to be found here except, like I said before, for one's own death. Let me ask you a question. About your tribe, about your chieftain, about Numeria. What do you know about Cyclopses? Not that much. Long ago these lands were part of their empire. They were a great people back then, used unbelievable magic, and possessed treasures that are beyond count. Ages passed and their empire crumbled into dust. Cyclopses became wild and forgot all about what they once used to be. But the ruins, yes, the ruins remember everything. Thank you for your answers. I have to go. Barbarian, barbarian, barbarian. But for a minute I had the crow. There I did. For a minute. Let's just hold tab. Raven. Barbarian. Octavia. Barbarian archer. Barbarian archer. Barbarian archer. Amiri. Nober. Nober's got a name. Barbarian. Barbarian. Dog. Merchant dag. Barbarian archer. Looks like this is a camp. I don't see the sister Lao. Well, let's go talk to the barbarian. Or the merchant. Who are you? Name's Dog. Was hell of a fighter when I was younger, but truth, those years passed before you know it. The health too. So now my job is equipment and provisions, along with a bit of trading from time to time. Show me your wares. Maybe he has something new and fancy. Potions, camp supplies, scorching ray, heroism. Has a recipe. We'll buy that. Other than that, it looks like just general supplies. We can sell some of this stuff. I'm sure they can use food supplies. And a few gems. Gold ring, silver ring, whoops, silver ring, non-magic leather armor. Okay, there you go. So let's talk to Bolga. So I don't know where the three... There she is. That's who I want to talk to. You are guest, the Baroness of Shrike Hills. Am I right? I'm sorry you witnessed that unpleasant scene. If I may ask, what is your name? My name is Jessica. What's yours? After you give your name, a large raven who'd been sitting on the fence nearby takes wing and flies away, cawing crossly. Nice to meet you, Baroness. I have no name. I rejected it to serve benevolent powers, not the greatest sacrifice to those who sometimes of those we're sometimes called to make. You may call me the Faith Sister. Who are you? I am one of those who call themselves the Faith Sisters. We're rejected our names and our faces in service to benevolent spirits. I'm sorry that I can't reveal our true destiny to you yet, but believe me when I say our mission is extremely important, not just for us and not just for the tribe, but for the entire world. So, Honorable, do these benevolent spirits have names? Do not burden yourself with idle questions, cleric. Know that all the truths you are seeking you will find you, but only when you are ready for them. What are you looking for here? It's not time yet to answer this question. We're searching for ancient ruins, the remains of structures built by previous holders of strange lands. That's all I can tell you now. I understand that you want to know more, but have no doubt you will in time. Dark things tend to happen in that land. I can only guess of the fate of Varnhold. My 3 sisters know more. Help me find them and you'll get your answers. If the spirits are kind, it will happen before it's too late. Do you have any idea where your sisters might be? Do you have a map? I can provide you some direction. One of my sisters went to the Spectre of Forgotten Heroes. Another went looking for the forsaken mound. And the third was going to visit the ruins of the city of Hollow Eyes. I don't lie, these places are all very dangerous, but searching for lost truth always involves danger. Does the word Vordaki mean anything to you? Where did I get that word? Just a word, scary and menacing once, powerless and forgotten now. Nothing to bother yourself with. I have to go. If in your travels you meet my sisters, please help them, and I will help you in return. Remember the word Keb. That is what the previous inhabitants of this land, the Cyclops, called darkness they so worshipped. If a door shut and lockless bars your way, that word might be your key. So now we know how to get through the door. May kind spirits guide you in your travels. Now we know how to get through the door. Oh, he had a part of our ancient scripture stuff. Yay! This guy has a name. Why do you have a name? Hunting sparse around here. We're running low on meat again. Sorry. So we now know how to get through the door here. So we have a huge area now to explore. And we do know where one area is there. So let's rest. And then we'll try getting in the door. So it looks like we're at the wrapping up point. So next episode we will go through the door into the shrine and hopefully we can save one of the dreaded faceless sisters. So as always, if you enjoyed this episode, go and give me a like or a comment. And if you disliked the episode, leaving me a dislike's fine, but please leave a comment saying why you disliked the episode. As always, this is Spidey 1958, and have fun gaming.